Welcome, everyone, to My Worst Date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
Considered singing for a second there, and then I was like, no, I'm too on the spot. I'm not ready. I didn't prepare.
You're like, I need to do a vocal warm-up first. I am not prepared for this.
Sprung that on us, Cassie. I wasn't ready.
Well, we were watching videos, and we were watching Kevin James, what's his name? Thurston? No, Thornton. Kevin James Thornton. He is hilarious.
He's my favorite part of TikTok.
He's
yeah, Kevin James Thornton. If you haven't followed him on TikTok, he is so funny. Like, we were literally sitting here crying watching some of these videos, and I don't know, there's just a magic to his storytelling.
Yeah,
because there's no reason it should be as funny. He uses auto-tune, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But like, there's no reason that his stories should be as funny as they are, except that some people are just talented like that.
Full on shame receipts. Yeah, that's what it is. It's because you're just like living through his own like shame receipts. Like he's just sharing everything.
That maxi pad one is, oh my god,
fucking hilarious
so much. Yeah. And the one about the sausages.
Oh, the sausages is the funniest one to me.
You guys have a special friendship.
Oh no!
Which also
he threw the whole tray of sausage. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
not to spoil.
I don't want to spoil the story because it is so funny. So go find him on Instagram and on TikTok, and just like you'll find. I'm sure it says hot dogs or sausages or something in the like on the image. But what made me laugh about that is because anybody. Well, it's kind of like fucked up, but like anybody who's been to like a fundamentalist Christian church has had a situation like that where it's just like super fucking uncomfortable. And instead of like dealing with it, the adults in charge just kind of like, this is like does not compute, and they just like walk away, you know, like and you're like, what are you doing, youth pastor? You should be like protecting this child in your care.
I should shout out that one of our listeners, one of our worsties, is who brought the maxi pad video to my attention. Now, I'd seen him before, but she just kind of refreshed my memory that this person existed. So I appreciate it. That was Shane. She had reached out to us. And I just want to give her a shout because I was like, thank you for bringing that back in my life. That's golden. Yeah.
Well, and I just want to shout out TikTok in general. Just the amount of creativity. And, you know, maybe it's the feed that I've curated, but I literally see everything that I want to see.
Oh,
there's
perfect.
Cooking stuff. There's drama on there. There's, I mean, my TikTok brings me nothing but joy. I can literally just spend like an hour scrolling through, and I'm just impressed by people.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I've never tried to figure out how to do some of these videos
once, and I gave up immediately. Like I tried to do it, and I was just like, I cannot figure out how to do these cuts. Like how old am I that I'm like on YouTube, like searching like how to make a TikTok like cut, and I was like, no, you know what?
No,
I'm just gonna enjoy it for what it is.
Yep.
I'm gonna take my one follower because I'm here purely as a
spectator.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I am. I'm just like, you're not gonna be seeing anything of me, but I'm gonna watch all of you.
Gonna follow all of the accounts that bring me joy, which are mostly story accounts. People telling stories is like my favorite.
Listen, I think that it's one of those things like, you know, if it weren't for the spectators, they wouldn't have a thing to begin with, right? Yeah. So, you know what? I think it's a know your place. No, you know, we're all good at something. This isn't it for me, and I'm fine with that.
Me too.
I'm totally fine with that.
I'm too self-conscious, I think, for it.
We have a podcast, by the way, where we tell all of our shit. Like, this is good enough.
But the difference is like you don't have to see me on a podcast, whereas like I'm like
It's a lot.
I can't. I already feel like I have Zoom dysmorphia, which is they've been talking about that and how like it's really affecting women a lot, especially because all we do is have our fucking cameras on, that front-facing camera, which is a distortion anyway, because it's like not how you actually look.
Right.
And we have them on all the time, and it's making me like so like weird and self-conscious and analyzing every little thing about my appearance that I'm like, I cannot then get on TikTok.
How's my arm look in this one picture? Like, if I hold it up a little bit like this, is it a little bit better? You know, like it's so weird. I
feel like the Zoom dysmorphia is similar to when you take a picture of yourself and you look at it too long.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I thought I looked good when I took this picture. And now that I've been staring at it for 10 minutes, I think I look hideous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, you just look, it's like when you look at a word too long and you're like, is that how that's spelled?
Like rural.
Yeah. And
Right,
you're like, I feel like
Wait.
that's not how that's spelled. You know, that's what we do to our pictures. We just pick them apart. So I'm not made for TikTok because I'd have to look at myself.
It's all the time.
Too much.
It's honestly, it's time consuming, and to be honest, I'm just too fucking busy. That's what it really boils down to me. I mean, like, it's just so time consuming. Everybody acts like, oh, it's so easy to just throw up a video. I'm like, it's not. You have the editing and the coming up with the ideas, the content creation, the da, 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 da. I'm like, it's already my fucking job. I just don't need it to be my hobby either.
So what were you going to talk to us about TikTok?
Oh, well,
I
now
haven't heard anything, so I'm interested.
And this could be over by the time this episode comes out. I'm not sure. But at this moment, Black TikTok creators are on strike because, all of these dances that go viral on TikTok, like you've got like the Savage dance that like went viral. You have all of these Black creators that are creating these incredible dances that everyone is using. And then you have white creators who are taking them, doing them.
And they're making the money.
And they're making the money. They're the ones who are going viral and getting shared. And I think Addison Rae or whatever her name is, she's not even good at them, but she's got like millions of followers. She was like on Jimmy Fallon. Like,
really?
Right?
Wow.
And they got criticized because they didn't give any credit to the original creators of these like dances. And so Black TikTok creators are on strike. They're like, we're not creating anything new. We're not creating any more dances. And so there are all these compilation videos of, white kids on TikTok. So I was trying to find another way to say that, but there is no other way.
Yeah.
Trying to create their own TikTok dances, like viral TikTok dances. And it is
trash.
I'm here for that.
Oh, it's and I'm sure they're not all terrible, right? Like they're not all terrible, but the compilations I've seen, it looks like a middle school pom squad. Like trying to come up with which look, I'm not a good dancer, so I'm like, I feel you, dude, but I also, again, stay in your lane. Like I know that's not
right
the path for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's unfortunate, but I mean that kind of story is not just TikTok. That's
everything.
A lot of things. That's the story of like Motown. That's the story of Elvis. That's the story. It is.
Yes. Entertainment in the United States and food. We talked about High on the Hog. Like all of those things, like a lot of things. That's why when people get all up in arms about cultural appropriation and it's like, oh, it's not a thing. I don't understand why it should be flattering to you that like we're wanting to use parts of your culture. And it's like, it is up until you're profiting off of it and the original community isn't receiving the same kind of recognition.
Listen, if I'm going to throw my back out, it's going to be throwing my back out by dancing. It is the one thing I am good at. So.
Oh, Lord. But yes, God bless TikTok, man. We've come a long way since the beginning of the pandemic when people were talking some mad shit on TikTok.
Yeah.
But, we all embrace it and love it now.
So much. So much. What else is going on?
Okay. So, someone shared this to our Facebook group. And then I received several text messages about this same thing. And that is the trailer for Netflix's new show, Sexy Beasts.
Oh, God.
Okay. We must discuss
this. And I have not seen anything about it except the one article with the girl who's the dolphin.
Did you watch the trailer?
No.
I watched the trailer.
I feel like we need to pause.
I was immediately angry.
I feel like we have to pause just so I can watch this trailer.
Why don't you watch it really quickly? Okay. And then we'll jump back in.
I'll cut it out. It's fine.
Okay. So Cassie just watched it. I think we can all agree that this is a furry's fever dream.
Pretty much.
A closeted furry pitched this in a meeting, never expecting anybody to go for it. And they were like, you know what? Sounds like a good idea.
It is so uncomfortable to watch that trailer. First of all,
I can't even talk.
Let's explain what it is for the listeners.
Everybody is in extensive animal makeup and they go on blind dates.
What is the show where they do the makeup? What is that show called? The when it was like
I know
on
exactly what you're
Sci-Fi.
talking about.
That's what the show. It's a cross between
that and like Love is Blind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which again, we had Love is Blind. Why do we need this? Like
Love is Blind is at least better.
There
Like
are
and
blind
there is-
dating shows already. I don't understand why we need this.
I'm sorry. I have another question. Suddenly now it's because okay, we have different races of people, so suddenly we're diverse. Bitch, they're all skinny, good-looking people.
Yeah.
Correct.
You're not
Thank you.
diverse.
Thank you.
It's like, are you really rolling the dice that hard?
Not
Like,
at
because
all.
it's just like they show them. We get to see them without their animal heads on,
This-
and they all are good looking.
They're
like,
all good looking.
They all look like
Spoiler alert.
bachelorette contestants.
It's so annoying to me. It really
They're
is.
like, we have levels of brown in here, so I think we've nailed it.
So yeah, what is the drama that like two good looking people might not think they're good looking enough? Like,
yeah,
that's what makes me. It really isn't diverse. It's not saying anything about personality when everybody in there is 95 pounds.
I can't believe people agreed to be on this show. I mean,
the desperation.
I guess I can believe it because people will do anything to be on TV, but wow.
Imagination of like you said, furry fever dream.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we can make a show during COVID if everybody has masks on.
Well, I'm blaming Masked Singer for this too.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like this is somehow that show is responsible for this in some way. And
you're not wrong. You're right.
Wild. Like it's truly super weird and wild, and also not worth it for how long that they're having to sit in that makeup chair. Because it's like
Face Off meets Masked Singer meets The Bachelor.
Watching the baboon and the devil girl quote unquote kiss. Guys, you're just mashing your plastic faces together.
Stop it.
This is how I made my Barbies kiss.
Oh my God.
It's so awkward.
Awful.
It's so awful. And I just know that we're going to have to.
I mean, at least a couple episodes. We got to be able to comment on it.
Yeah. So.
Is this gonna
Patreon.
I was going to say, is this a Patreon episode?
Patreon, we will do our best to check this out and perhaps comment on this because it's so out there. It really is like
it's
beyond
awful.
Even Love is Blind.
It's
Love
far
is Blind
beyond.
Was ridiculous and crazy.
Yeah.
Or it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
it was a wild ride.
It was a wild ride, but this is whole nother level. Yeah.
It is.
Where is this going? I feel like we're really entering into a dystopian phase of reality TV. Like, what's next?
I feel like
a lot of people are, and we had a discussion an episode or so back where we were talking about the different things that you can put on your dating profile if you couldn't put your face. Like, what would you put on there? Because there is, I think, a backlash to just going off of the physical, just going off of the face or whatever. But all of these dating shows that, as we've pointed out, are still only good looking young people. So I don't know if if a show has come out that's really kind of addressed that. Like,
no, definitely not in the dating world.
Really, no. I mean, really the opportunity to do that would have been Love is Blind because you do not see each other at all.
Yeah, I would love to see a season of Love is Blind where the youngest person on there was 35.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, you're right.
Adult, mature people.
Yeah. Maybe second marriage type people.
Exactly. Yeah. That would have real conversations.
Yes.
I'd watch
that
fuck out of that.
Yeah.
And I think it could be meaningful.
So Jessica can get her second chance is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
What is she, 36 now? I mean, wow.
She's practically ancient.
Mark is 26. She is 36.
Yes.
We learned basic
and
math
when
from Jessica.
37, he'll be 27.
I mean.
Yeah, and she'll still be feeding her dog wine.
Oh, God.
You guys remember the beginning of the pandemic?
Oh,
what a time to be alive. It was all Love is Blind and Tiger King. And
you're right. Oh.
Just woof. Well, who are we going to fuck, marry, kill this week?
Man.
You know what I saw? I don't know if it's a TikTok video. I think it was a TikTok video that ended up on Instagram, which was the Tony Hawk and
Avril Lavigne.
Yeah.
Who,
Tony
by the way,
Hawk is
a zaddy.
so hot.
Yeah.
He is.
Listen, I
So
know we've
hot.
done zaddies before, but I really feel like we should do that kind of skater boy dude, like that vibe, you know,
Dude,
that are zaddies now.
I think he's hotter now.
Like Gavin Rosdale.
I agree. He's
Like,
hotter now.
I think Gavin Rosdale's hotter now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that
he was
fucked a
always
nanny,
hot,
but
he was always hot though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
yeah.
still hot. Yeah.
still hot.
Uh,
What's his name? Soccer player
David Beckham.
Dave Beckham.
All right.
You cannot go wrong with him.
keeps
He is a
it tight.
motherfucking zaddy.
Yeah, that's a
Wow.
vibe. That's
is
a
a
vibe. I mean, like
vibe.
all three of them, like, because they're different, right?
Yeah.
You've got like a musician, a soccer player, and a skateboarder,
Yeah.
but their vibe is similar.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
have like that kind of like
Yeah.
They're grown-ups.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's my
hot.
I'm zaddy.
Yep.
Always. That's always been my vibe.
Oh, same.
I never
I have
liked-
daddy issues.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a thing for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So Tony Hawk, Gavin Rosdale,
And David
And
Beckham.
David
Beckham.
Beckham.
I mean, you cannot go wrong here.
you really
You cannot.
can't.
Okay, I have to say this.
Mm-hmm.
How spicy in bed do you think Tony Hawk is? I think that he's got to be the spiciest one.
Do you think so?
And
I
there's a
don't-
part
I don't
because he's
think
quiet.
so.
Because he's quiet. Like, I don't know.
he reminds me so much of like a few guys I went to like high school with.
He
Yeah.
he
You know?
reminds me the most of guys I have dated in the
Okay.
past.
Okay.
Like if like me as a teenager or me as like in my early 20s was gonna get with one of them, it probably would have been Tony Hawk.
Mine would have been
because
Gavin as a teenager for sure.
Tony Hawk, if you were like a white guy who was into skateboarding who was like tall and skinny, it was over. Like
Yeah.
that was my
You
thing.
were Avril Lavigne.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going after, that was my
Skater
genre.
boy is
It was
your
my
anthem.
genre,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So if you
Yeah,
had
you're right.
bonus points if you had an acoustic guitar. It was
I mean,
done. Okay.
Forget it, right?
Listen, did you wear a beanie? Okay.
No. Or is David Beckham the one who's going to tear it up? I
See,
feel like he might tear it up.
I actually feel like Gavin Rosdale might like choke you a little, which I'm on board with. So
I feel like that's kind of how I feel about David Beckham, though, too.
David
They're
Beckham.
they're all like
Damn. They all have a
smoking
vibe.
hot.
Yeah.
I
This
honestly
is a very
feel
hard
like
one.
the sex game is equal.
I do, too. It's going to be
You
hard.
know?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why I think that, why I'm coming to this conclusion is it has to be to sustain like a marriage for a long time.
Yeah.
You got to be a little bit, adventurous.
That's right.
Got to change things up. Now, Gavin got a little too adventurous.
Yeah. Don't love that.
Perhaps, where you have Tony Hawk and David Beckham who have
Married a long time.
yeah, exactly,
Mhm.
who have
Yeah.
maintained it, or at least kept things on the DL
That's
enough
right.
that we don't know about it.
And that's smart.
Well, whatever
And
works.
I like that, too.
Whatever works
fine.
for their marriage
Yeah.
is fine if it works within, like, their
Yeah.
marriage. Like, but yes. So for that reason, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But what I do know is I'm not going to marry Gavin.
Right.
I feel like of the three,
Yeah.
he's failed that test for me.
Mhm.
So
Fuck it.
I know, right? I'm so torn.
it's very hard.
It's torn because I'm like, there is something about quiet ass Tony Hawk that I'm like, there's
something that makes me want to marry Tony
I know.
Hawk.
I was just gonna
I
say. I think
know.
I'm gonna marry Tony Hawk.
But he does have a son who shares my name, and that is a problem. He has a
yeah.
son named Keegan, and it's weird. It's weird, but you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna marry Tony.
Okay.
I like his vibe. I like
yeah,
his whole
he'd be a good
shtick.
husband.
Yeah.
That his shtick online is basically people not believing
That he's Tony Hawk. I love it.
I think it's so funny.
I think it's brilliant.
He's down. I think he's the most
fun.
down to earth of
and
the
he
three of
just
them.
seems like a
Yeah.
Yeah.
really good dad.
Very
too.
good dad.
Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna have a great barbecue.
He's gonna teach all the neighborhood kids how to skate.
Yeah, he is.
So
Yeah.
so smart.
I just want him to teach me how to skate.
Me too.
Me too, because
Oh.
man, when I went through my Avril Lavigne phase, I had a skateboard that looked like a stick of juicy fruit. That was what was on it,
Yes.
and I almost broke my ass like
Oh, yeah.
6 times. I eventually gave up because I was
My-
like,
Rule for myself is that I'm not allowed on any sort of contraption that propels my body faster then it
can go naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So things that are out for me. Skates. Skiing, all of those things. When you are
what about a bike?
When you are a cross-eyed person, you really
you don't ride bikes?
No.
Wow.
I don't have the best depth perception. At least in a car, I'm surrounded by metal, which is great. But yeah, as a rule, generally the pace that I walk at is about how I approach the world. I don't need to
I did not
chance
need
it faster. So maybe I won't be able to join him on skating, but I feel like there's enough overlap of things that we would both enjoy that it would be great. Yeah. And then I got to kill David Beckham.
Wow.
I know. It's hard. I think he's attractive. Yeah. I love a British accent. Yeah. I love soccer guys and everything, but
I've made a decision.
What are you going to do, Cass?
You guys have sold me on Tony Hawk. I am definitely going to marry him. He's got the best sense of humor. He's going to be
good energy.
You're going to have fun with him. He's going to be somebody you can share your life with. You're going to be able to talk to him. You're going to communicate well. Yeah. David Beckham, I'm going to fuck him. I'm going to, God bless America.
Yeah, he's hot, but he just doesn't seem, I don't get like a sense of humor off of him.
No, it's fine. I don't need a sense of humor in bed.
Yeah.
I don't need that for fucking.
This is difficult. It's really hard.
Yeah. And then Gavin, as much as teenage me wants to so bad, I just can't forgive him. There's something really, I don't know. It's weird. Like there's like, I don't know, not forgive him. Like it's in my position to do so.
Right.
Dr. TJ Fossil.
He's waiting for
he's like, God, if only
Cassie would forgive me for that one.
He's also got an accent. So
true.
Yeah. God, that's tough, man.
It is. Yeah. It is tough.
It is tough.
And
not going to date him. It's going to be fun.
I love a soccer player. I think that they have the best. We've talked about this before, like what athletes, the soccer player body is so like
it's that lean strength.
Lean all over toned body, which I love. But there is something there's something about Gavin Rossdale.
Yeah.
There's just something there that I'm just like, I just need to explore the depths of those waters. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I'm not trying to have a relationship with him. Yeah, no. Certainly not trying to marry him, because I think of the three, he's
I just I needed an out, and I'm like, it's so hard. This
I understand.
Is 3 solids.
I do understand, because I don't feel good about turning down the opportunity to fuck David Beckham. Who feels good about that?
I don't.
No one. No. Right. Yeah. But I need to see what that's about. So I'm gonna do that. And then I'm just gonna set David Beckham to this. Just put him over here. Okay.
That's all right. I'll fuck him.
Thanks.
Yeah. I'll take him.
Really?
I'll take one for the team.
Yeah. Can we do
landing on that sword?
Or fuck Mary this time?
Yeah.
Where it's just like,
if only.
I know. I'm not kicking David Beckham out.
No.
I'm not gonna be like,
I'm not gonna kick you. I'm not gonna.
I can't do it. I'll be like, fuck these rules and fuck this pussy.
Yeah. Damn. Oh wow. Shit. I think we should take a break.
I know. I'm gonna take 5 and we'll come back with stories.
Yeah. And we're back. All right, Cass, kick us off with some stories.
All right. So I found mine from Reddit. This one will make you not happy.
Okay.
Oh, great. You love these. I met this guy online. He was a couple years older than me, but that was okay. Turned up, he was actually 50-ish, not 30, as he had said on his profile. Okay.
Whoa, a big age difference.
That's a pretty big age difference, yeah. We get to the bar and we were making small talk, and he says, I like to get girls drunk.
Okay.
Okay.
Fuck you, dude.
Straight 2 and 3. Like, first of all, she's like, he's slightly older. She thinks he's 30 and he's slightly older. That means she's probably in her 20s. Mm-hmm. And then he turns out to be like her dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just like, and I like to get girls drunk. That's our lead in. Great. Should have left there, but we had reservations for a really nice restaurant attached to the bar, so I just stayed for the food. I'm losing track of strikes as he proceeds to then hit on the waitress, but at the same time also being really rude and horrible to her.
Are you a Mad Men character? Like, I feel like
this happened in the 1960s.
Yeah, like this is such like weird chauvinistic, like old school chauvinistic behavior.
Horrible.
Yeah.
It's not like 2020 nice guy behavior, TM, right?
No,
like, it's like old school.
school.
I can be a fucking like chauvinistic prick and it doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah. Well, and we don't know when this happened, and the dude was 50, so maybe he had like he's got like his eyes set on the past, and he's like,
God, that's what he's looking for in a woman. He's just like, I just want somebody I can treat like
right.
I just want a Betty Draper.
Exactly. Yeah.
I got up near the end of dinner and found her to say I was really sorry for his behavior. His behavior spelled VIOUR. So this is going to be either Europe, like England or Canada. So I'm maybe this is a guy thing for them. Maybe this is 2020 nice guy TM for them.
I don't know. Let us know.
Hate it. For his behavior toward her, as it was not okay, and we had a little laugh about some of the things that he had said to me as well throughout the date. One of the gems, he said that he had wife and kids. Great.
Oh. Why?
Great.
Why? Why?
Then we were leaving the restaurant and I was ready to get the fuck out of there. And I said politely, nice to meet you. I'm heading home now, school night and that. He proceeds to berate me in the middle of a public square. Loads of people were there, by the way, about how I wasn't going to go back to his place to fuck, and how rude that was of me.
Oh my God, how rude.
I just
rude.
legged it out of there and took the long way home in case he had followed me.
Wow.
Isn't that awful?
That's pretty much like checks all my boxes for awful.
Oh, horrible. I do want to mention that she posted something about her second worst date involved a guy who loved smelling women's farts, and he was happy to hear that she was vegetarian because their farts are the best.
All right, Lord Byron, sit down.
I also want to hear that entire story immediately, if not sooner. How does that come up in a conversation?
I don't know. You guys know the Lord Byron story, though, right? Her lovely little farts.
Oh, that wasn't Lord Byron.
Who was it?
No. Gosh, that was someone else. But it wasn't Lord Byron. But I remember you sharing that it was like a world famous author, and it was later than Lord Byron. It was like into the 20th century.
Yeah, I think it's part of the lost generation in the 20s in Paris.
And it was
it's going to drive me.
Oh,
it's a whopper. He liked smelling farts too.
Amazing.
And hearing them in bed.
I wouldn't. Oh man, he'd have a field day with me.
Well, me too.
He's dying 100%. She's like,
I hate this. Do you know how fast I would leave a date if he said that to me?
Oh yeah, you of all people?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't love it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, no.
Yeah, I'm happy to be with somebody that
is
isn't
okay with
offended
That's
by
right.
it.
That's
but
right.
I don't know about like it being
not my
a
yum.
turn on. That
Yeah.
wouldn't be my.
It's not my
on
yum
either.
but I'm not gonna yuck your yum.
Yeah, but
But it's just not my yum.
Maybe get on. Okay, that's fine. Never mind. Just move on. Okay.
Well, my story was written by a listener. It's titled "Southern Charm to Southern Harm."
Oh
no! Is there a trigger warning here? Shit.
No trigger warning.
Okay.
I went on a date with a coworker's boyfriend's friend. I had met him once at a bar when I was shit-faced the week before, and from what I barely remembered, he seemed nice and was handsome. He asked me to go to this really nice restaurant I had been wanting to try. So again, a theme. So sometimes if you pick a good restaurant, you can prolong the date.
People will stick through almost anything.
Really want to try those scallops.
Really did want to go to Petit Trois.
Yeah. So, and since I had recently gotten out of a shitstorm relationship with a man-child, I thought I'd give him a chance. He picks me up in a truck with camo seats and a Bass Pro Shop hat on the dashboard. And I tried to pretend that wasn't a huge turnoff for me.
Yeah.
Did he have chew in his mouth?
Look,
I mean,
Bass Pro, I'm pretty sure Springfield is the like birthplace of Bass Pro.
Bass Pro
and
shops.
it has like the largest Bass Pro shop maybe not in the country, but it's massive. It has like a whole like museum in it, you know.
Wow.
And that is a very common occurrence in my neck of the woods, and not a turn on for me either. It is for some women. Look,
Yeah.
there are plenty of women out there who that's their thing. Okay?
Yeah. Well, he parks in a motel-looking apartment complex's parking lot, and I look at him confused. He tells me, "This is my place. We're going to walk because valet's $10. Mind you, I'm wearing high-ass heels, and the sidewalk has craters in it the size of my regret for agreeing to go on the date.
Okay, so pause there, because I do want to say, we're from LA.
Yeah.
I feel like, honestly, nothing wrong with parking at someone's like house to avoid paying for parking if they're close by. Yeah. But you gotta let someone know. Yeah. Like you gotta let them know that that's what's gonna happen. Yeah. Because walking, it matters.
Because heels, yes. I suck it up and try not to break an ankle walking over, and we get seated at the restaurant. I have been a huge fan of this podcast. Yay! Thank you. So I thought it'd be fun to interrupt his spiel of talking about himself for 45 minutes to ask him if he has ever been on a really bad date.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
He looks at me with an offended look on his face and goes, "No? What? Why?" And I said, "Oh, just curious. I've had a few bad dates and I think they're funny to share." And then silence. Our server comes back and asks if we want appetizers.
He would not be a fan of our show.
No.
He's like, "How dare
is this
you?"
Dr. TJ Fawcett.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it is. He's like, "I knew it."
He's like, "I tried listening to one because my date said she listened to you."
Yeah.
I hated it.
I hate it. 1 star. Our server comes back and asks if we want appetizers. I'm a huge appetizer girl. Girl, same. And he goes, "We don't need those, right?" Oh. I guess not. So aside from the fact that he was cheap with no sense of humor, I'm still too nice to say no thanks when he asks if I want a tour of his disgusting apartment.
No.
We walk in.
No.
It smells like my Nana's house. Cobwebs in the corners of the wall. It looks exactly like an apartment a dead body would be found in. I bet it's an old dish towel.
No.
It's
an old dish towel.
No. I go into his room and see cowboy boots, so I joke, "You're a big country boy, huh?" And he sprints past me to slam his walk-in closet.
I go, there is a dead body in there.
There is in there.
Oh my God, it's just like the story I told you. Oh my God.
I go, "What's in there? A horse?" And he goes, "Well, not exactly."
No, stop it.
No, stop. No.
Hesitantly.
No.
He opens the door.
No.
You didn't need to.
Disappears for a few seconds. He walks back out holding an AR-15 and points it at me.
No.
A gun. No. A fucking GUN gun.
Is she from my hometown?
I panic and almost start crying. Literally felt like the air had left my lungs, and I shield my face as if that will protect me from the damage an assault rifle could do.
Oh my God.
He proceeds to tell me about all of his guns. He had more than 5 in the apartment alone.
And you don't know basic gun safety? Like, don't point your gun at someone?
And I pretend to be interested until I ask him to please take me home. On the way home, he says, "I bet I can get to your house with no directions."
I hope
not.
And
I say, how? And he said, "I memorized it." Perfect. I obviously ghosted this fuckhead.
That's so weird.
Told all my friends the story and kept my doors locked and security system on. Fast forward a week.
No.
I'm out at the bars and I see him. He comes up and acts so weird with a hint of rejection and sadness. I tell him the date was fine and that I had just been really busy. He ends up following me around all night and eventually gets the hint and leaves, but texts me, "Lose my number."
Okay.
Just his luck I already had. Moral of the story, not all country boys have Southern charm. So
should have wrote back and been like, "Who's this?"
Yeah. She also added on that she forgot 2 huge details. He said, while we were still together on the date, number 1, fat black women are always the funniest. And 2, they're gay. Ew. So this guy is just full of fun.
Sounds charming.
Just absolutely
snake charming.
Wow.
I hate him. He sounds
It reminded me
awful.
a lot of the story that you told. I think it was last week.
Yes.
Where it's just like when you're in danger.
Yes.
Danger.
A man who has an entire arsenal has memorized the route to your house.
I do not like that.
I don't like that.
I think it ended the best way it could, which was with him telling her
Choosing.
to lose. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You lose my number.
It's too bad. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Use the route to my house. How about that?
Please.
Y'all are not about to feel any better
Oh, this is the mad episode.
about the state of the world. And Cassie, there are some parallels between your story and my story. I love when there's a through line.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Themes.
we're getting heated up in here this week.
This one's a little long, but it's
Worth it.
It's good. Okay. 2 years and 2 states later, I'm still a little hesitant about posting the state.
Oh, Jesus.
Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't understand why anyone posts decade-old profile photos. I'm a curvy girl. If a guy isn't into that, I'd much rather he politely ignore my first contact email than do a disgusted double take when he first sees me.
Oh.
Gentlemen, it doesn't matter how good you looked 10 years ago when you had more hair and less belly. If your photo is so out of date that a woman can't recognize you, I promise there is no hope that she will look past that. No. Instead, she's going to take one look at you and assume that everything you've told her is a lie.
Yep.
Don't be that guy.
100. Very I love she comes in with a nice lead in, directing people on how to treat other people and be smart about online dating.
Right. And it's not shaming at all. It's just being honest. Like just be honest.
It's not going to work.
Honest.
Right. Officer Creepy was succinct, flattering, and interested in meeting over dinner, his treat. At the time, I thought any excuse to visit one of Bardstone Road's tastier houses of meaty delights was a good one. Oh so I agreed to...
Good restaurant.
Right?
It's a good restaurant.
That's what it takes. It's what it takes.
Fine.
We're
hungry.
You really could get me. If I was...
me
especially somewhere like LA where there are so many like good restaurants that I'm like, I'm not going to go try myself. If someone... You could really lure me in just... Hook, line, sinker.
Well, dude, you can have a van with no windows that's like best tacos, and I'd be like,
all
right,
might be worth it.
I'll try it.
Sure.
The best
and
tacos?
Kidnapped.
Yeah.
God damn it! I knew it.
So she says, so I agreed to meet him on a nice, unromantic Tuesday.
Perfect.
Based on his profile, I expected a slightly straight-laced, pleasantly plump, curly-haired man 8 to 10 years my senior. When I showed up to the restaurant, the restaurant was full of the usual Bardstown Road crowd of hipsters on dates, young professionals out for a night of adventure, and cheerful tables full of heavily tattooed and pierced people who work on the strip.
Perfect. Sounds
perfect.
great.
I took a seat by the bar and let the waitress know if I was here for a date. If he stood me up, I'd order some empanadas to take home. Internet date? She leaned in conspiratorially. Is there a special rescue signal I should know about?
Oh, nice. Good girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is one of the reasons I loved first dates on Bardstown. I grinned and gave her the Vulcan live long and prosper salute. Suddenly,
nice. I like this.
Mm-hmm. Suddenly, a hand clapped on my shoulder. Let's take this outside.
What am I, in arrest?
What's happening right now? A bald, jowly stranger behind me was older than my father.
She's like, Vulcan.
Excuse me? Chris, Rachel and I will... Chris, I'm guessing that's him introducing himself. Rachel and I will take a large carafe of sangria and a table outside, he told the waitress. Okay, he knew my name. Either this was my date or I was finally about to be recruited into a secret government agency.
Finally.
Come on, S.H.I.E.L.D., please be real. I've always wanted to live. Yes. I've always wanted to live on a helicarrier. Sadly, it was my date.
Oh.
He carried the sangria out and poured for me. I drank nervously while looking over the menu. He suddenly topped me off, carefully watching me drink.
I don't like that.
You look different than I expected, I said. He looked at me like I had revealed a state secret. They said, use my best photo.
Who's they?
Right, who is they?
Who is? Yeah,
who's they?
Yeah, is that a thing on dating websites? There's like a list of do's and don'ts.
I have great pictures of me when I was 3.
Sure,
those are my best pictures. You want me to use those?
Yes.
Like, what do you think that they're talking about? That's oh my god.
When was that one taken? In the photo, he leaned over the edge of a boat floating in front of some mountains. Now, I suspected he'd have a heart attack if he tried to hike a mountain.
Oh, no.
When I was 42, he said. What year was that? His profile said he was 44. The last 2 years must have been very hard on him. He glared at me. 1996.
Sir.
Oh, I can't math that fast.
It ain't good.
I sighed. He was older than my father.
He's got to be like in the 60s.
Yeah. He topped off my glass again. What do you think I do for a living? I really couldn't guess. A desk job? He obviously... I'm not going to say that. He crossed his arms. I'll give you a hint. You wouldn't be here if you knew.
Okay.
Garbage collector, I guess. Try again. Accountant? I'm serious, he growled. So am I.
Okay.
I suck at this game. Just tell me what you do for a living.
Oh, no. Shit.
I'm a police officer. He refilled my sangria. I noticed he hadn't taken a sip of his own. Great. He topped off my glass every time I took a sip. I tried to gauge whether or not I'd had a whole glass yet. Just to be safe, I knew I was trapped for at least 2 hours if I didn't want to risk him accusing me of drinking and driving. I reached into my purse to try and summon a rescue. Turn off your cell phone. I don't want you texting all through dinner.
Sir, you are not... This is not 50 Shades of Grey.
This is terrifying.
And he also was like, you wouldn't have come if you knew. I'm like, I wouldn't have come if I knew a whole bunch of other shit about
things.
you.
Yeah.
What?
That you're 60.
That you're older than my dad.
Yeah.
That you misrepresent yourself and lie online. That you're being really fucking shady with alcohol.
Yeah, you're
very
bossing me
scary.
around.
Like, that is a tactic to continuously fill up someone's glass so they can't gauge how many glasses of wine they've had. It's very, manipulative. There went my primary lifeline. Moving very slowly, I did as I was told. The waitress emerged to take our orders. I tried holding up my Vulcan salute slightly behind his head, but his eyes flickered to my reflection in the restaurant's window. He pulled out his badge and showed it to the waitress.
What?
Bring us a pitcher of water and come back for our order in 15 minutes.
What?
She promptly disappeared, avoiding eye contact with us both. Once she was gone, he got down to business. I took down your plates after I saw you get out of your car. Let's get something straight. I've seen your blog. You're not writing about me. If you do, I'm sure a girl like you has done things you regret. You don't want to regret them more.
Holy shit.
My eyes...
I am fucking shook.
Oh, yeah.
This is a real fucking human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My eyes widened in shock. Nothing makes a date go better than liquoring a girl up and threatening her. I only write about the bad dates, I reminded him. Honestly, most of my dates are just plain conversation. We don't really feel a spark. We go our separate ways. No harm done. I give him an optimistic smile. He laughed bitterly. Get ready. How a date ends is always up to the woman. I couldn't quite tell if that was a threat, a suggestion, or both. He topped off my sangria again, then looked me in the eyes. You'd regret writing about me. It's a bad idea. Now take a drink.
Wow.
Relax. I dutifully put the glass to my lips. Over the next 2 hours, I learned that after his upcoming retirement, he fantasized about building an isolated house on a cliff face in Chile where supplies would be delivered by donkey once a week and no one would bother him. I pointed out that I am a city girl who loves living in a walkable neighborhood with my own corner bookstore, restaurant, and bar where the staff knows me. I learned he resented people with advanced education because, according to him, the only purpose of an academic degree was to indoctrinate people into the liberal agenda.
Oh.
I pointed out I listed my MA in history on my online profile. I learned he thought the space program was a stupid waste of money. I pointed out I follow the X Prize religiously and covet stock in Bigelow Aerospace. Under other circumstances, I would have left over an hour earlier, but I wasn't sure how to get away from Officer Creepy without being accused of a DUI. I hadn't touched my sangria since his revelation. After a while, I had to know. Listen, I asked, as politely as I could. I'm pretty honest on my profile. I'm a liberal, overeducated, geeky city girl. We don't have anything in common. Why did you write to me? Girls on OkCupid put out.
Oh my God.
My God.
The horror on my face must have pleased him. He grunted and looked away. Never mind, you're fatter than I expected.
Oh. I
I want to set this human on fire.
Violence right now. I want to violence. That's all I can say. Yep. That doesn't even make sense, but that's how I feel.
That was the first good news I'd heard all night.
You're like, oh, thank God.
I'd rub mud in my hair and roll around in trash if it could get me out of this horrifying date. I liked lanky tech nerds built like a sack of hangers. This conservative cop.
Same.
Right?
Totally understand that.
I scrambled to come up with an appropriate response that would save face for him without resulting in retribution for me. It was really interesting meeting you, but I'm looking for a relationship, not a one-night stand. I'm sorry you wasted your evening. Let me buy dinner. Get the sangria too, he says.
No, I'm going to not get that thing.
The carafe sat untouched since he revealed he was secretly a cop. I felt lucky he didn't tell me to buy him a gift certificate and a box of donuts. I waited silently.
But I would have if it got me
out of there. Mm-hmm. I waited silently while the waitress boxed up both of our dinners for him to take home. This better not show up on your blog. While I waited to sign the debit card receipt, he huffed off to find some other woman to intimidate. Once he was gone, the waitress topped off the carafe of sangria before sealing it with aluminum foil and a rubber band. Take it home. She gave my shoulder a sympathetic squeeze. You look like you could use it.
Oh, my
bless
God.
your heart.
That is horrifying on so many levels. The worst part of it being him taking down her fucking license plate number and threatening her.
How many people has he abused? So many.
And he knows. He's like, what are you going to do? Call the cops on
exactly.
me? I would start recording that conversation immediately, if not sooner.
Yeah, you're so unsafe. And here's the thing. I went on dates and I would make sure to tell people before I went out with them. And I know I talked about it on this podcast before that I have a bad date podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know that cost me some dates. Mm-hmm. I know that people were not comfortable with it and that's cool. But I wasn't about to lie. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, it's, oh my God.
Yeah. Wow. Very, very, very scary situation that I'm glad she got out of.
That was a bunch of really scary stories.
Dates.
I know. Great.
Bad
I
dates.
can't wait to tell you my Tainted Love, which is also another scary story.
Yeah. It's scary.
So I want to preface this by saying that I did a story that is a little close to home. I actually knew this guy peripherally. Because we're in the same industry together and had been to multiple events together. So I knew this person, very well known in my industry, been at shows that he was at as well. Like definitely one of those cross path situations. Not a friend, but definitely somebody who
work colleague.
Exactly. Somebody in the work periphery of my life. Right. Mm-hmm. So I remember when I heard about this, I was like, oh my God, what a tragedy. So I'm going to tell you guys the story about Fabio Sementilli. Fabio Sementilli was an award-winning hairdresser. He was just full of big life. He was just a teddy bear. In fact, so much of a teddy bear that people would call him Big Daddy. Everybody was like Big Daddy Sementilli. He was just the super lovable guy. He's originally from Toronto, in Canada. And so he and his sister both were hairdressers, and they actually worked together in the salon together, worked as a team, doing shows and doing events. And, he really just kind of grew. He was one of those people that just really personality. Hair shows are such a different beast, and a lot of what you do is showmanship. And he just had that, right? He had that showmanship and just really grew into, just a sought after artist who was really good at what he did, but almost just a really good talker too. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just, you sell yourself first, and he was really good at that. And everybody loved him. I mean, he was just well known in the industry as one of the nicest guys, just super sweet, shirt off his back, just do anything. So, for him coming up in the industry, he's making name for himself. He becomes an artistic contributor to Wella, which is a brand I'm sure you guys have heard of because you know me.
Yep.
So he started working with Wella, eventually became like a creative director for them, moving all the way up into a VP of education position, which is incredible. Like it's a really big move up, a VP position in a company like Wella, which eventually was owned by Cody. I mean, you're talking about a big corporate job, but in a creative field. And personally, this is my life, right? Like I'm not a VP, but I definitely understand that kind of side. You still get to have that creative side, but it's kind of like using left and right brain. It's a very exciting thing in this industry to kind of be able to move into those types of roles. So for him, this was a big move up, a big, forward trajectory. This is huge. And so big that like at this point, like he's having to make the move to Los Angeles from Toronto. His entire family are all from Toronto. He has a son with, his first wife, Luigi. And he, is there, his parents, his, sister, he's kind of leaving his entire like family hub to take this job here in Los Angeles. Wella, and I think still is in Woodland Hills. So he finds a really beautiful place in Woodland Hills with his second wife. His second wife, Monica, they had been married since like 1997, right? So they've been married for a really long time. And everyone describes it as like the perfect marriage. Like everyone is like, they're just a beautiful couple. They dance. There's videos of them dancing in the kitchen. Like they just have a fun, loving, real joie de vivre type of life, right? Like you can just tell there's passion and love and just, it's a joy life, right? And it's just, it's blessed on blessed, right? They have 2 daughters and who are teenagers by the time that they come to Los Angeles. So they're, living it up, Woodland Hills, beautiful mansion. Actually, it's funny because I'm pretty sure it takes place in Woodland Hills, but there's also some things that say Thousand Oaks, which is kind of neighboring. So it's in that kind of neighborhood. Really nice. Anybody who's not from here, it's a really nice neighborhood. Beautiful homes. Closer to the Kardashians where they live in Calabasas kind of area. Like it's just
Calabasas.
Calabasas. It's Calabasas. Calabasas. Sorry. So beautiful life, beautiful wife, Monica, and their 2 lovely children, Jennifer and Isabella. So, Jennifer with a G, by the way, which I really love.
Wait, what happened to, Luigi was with his first.
Luigi and a little bit older. And so that was with his first wife. And
I was like, where'd Luigi go? Okay.
No, we just got rid of him. So they, this is 2011 when they move out there with their 2 teenage daughters. And, seemingly everything's fabulous. They have a beautiful house, a pool. They have Fabio had just bought a Porsche, black Porsche, Boxster, I think. So I mean, like he's just is happy living his life and having a good time, and his wife again seemingly just lovely and happy. So when on January 23rd, 2017, a call comes in to the police that Isabella had come home and found her father and their home ransacked, and her father was collapsed by the pool in a puddle of blood. Police were like, wow, what the fuck happened? Obviously, this is, they had a gated like entry to their home. Like this is, and this is a heavily like surveilled neighborhood as far as like everybody's got cameras. Well, the big thing that was happening at that time, you guys will remember this, are the knock knock burglars, right? So they were like, this is clearly a robbery. There's, they've taken like lots of stuff. The place has been ransacked. Stuff has been gone through. So this is
there a dateline on this?
48 hours.
Thank you. I was like, I know I think
I've sent it. Well, I've definitely told you guys about it too because I know him, right?
Yeah.
So they go in and it's like the knock knock burglars. They're like, okay, this kind of feels maybe like that's what's happening. It's the only thing we can think of. And maybe they were spooked. They didn't realize that he was there and they ended up killing him. Well, they found that he had multiple stab wounds. So it was like, not just in his like hands, like as a defensive, chest, neck, like he had blood and he's just covered in blood and multiple stab wounds. So like they were like, this feels very like targeted as well. But they're like, who the hell would target a hairdresser in Woodland Hills? Like, this is just so weird. And they're like, it could be the knock knock burglars, but this is not part of their MO. They've never murdered someone before. So it just like, it wasn't really adding up. Videos from the neighbor's house shows that there's two men like jogging up to the house with like they have like a hooded sweatshirts on with their, the ties like tied basically all the way to just like a little hole.
Not suspicious at all.
No, totally looks normal.
Yeah.
Absolutely normal. And the other weird thing is that because of the knock knock burglars, like everybody in the neighborhood had like these surveillance systems, like really high tech, very well put together surveillance systems, including the Sementillis. Sementillis were like, yeah, obviously everybody's breaking in. They had a whole security system set up, multi-camera system that had a DVR set up so that could be recorded and you could, go back, etc. What was weird though is when they got to the house, the box for the DVR for the camera was actually ripped out and they found it in the garage, which was really bizarre for just a bunch of burglars who...
How would they know
where to find it? How would they... Yeah. Why and what... Why?
Yeah.
So it all was very suspicious. The men they also see in the video surveillance of the neighbor's house that they fled in his Porsche, his black Porsche. So the other weird thing about that is they literally found the car like just miles from his home. So it's like, that feels like a really like a lot to go through to then just dump the one thing that probably was the most expensive thing you grabbed.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's suspicious, right?
Yeah.
So during this time, and I remember this time, so like after he passed, again, this is like everybody's like, well, it feels very much like it's probably these burglars, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, every company, Wella put out a statement. I remember Behind the Chair, like there was like all these words and like there's so many celebrations of his life. Like it was just a real big miss and it just felt so tragic and unnecessary the way he passed. Like it's a murder. Like, I mean, somebody like so important to our industry is just murdered. It just feels so, it's shocking. Right. And, so anyway, so they're, of course, doing the investigation. They're taking, fingerprints, stuff like that. And they do find something suspicious. They find another DNA contribution within like blood samples and things like that. And they're like, this is suspicious. Let's test it out. And they did. And their results came back for a guy named Rob Baker. Imagine a Kirkland brand Mark Wahlberg.
Okay, I know exactly
very
what that
specific.
Looks like. Yeah.
It is, and I swear to you, I can't wait to show you his picture. It is very Kirkland brand Mark Wahlberg. It's
like it's almost quite it, but not it.
It's just not quite. And they found the DNA in the crime in the system because guess what? Rob Baker is a registered sex offender.
Okay.
From Orange County, who was on the registry list for having lewd and activities with a 14-year-old minor.
Ooh. Have you ever... I once, I learned that you could go to the California website and see who was living in your neighborhood.
Who are the fuckers in your neighborhood?
And like why they're in your neighborhood. That's a very scary thing to do with your like Saturday morning. Just
I did that while I was single one time. Really sent myself into an anxiety spiral.
Yeah, because you're like, well, my next door neighbor has done some real fucked up shit, and now I know I can't unknow it.
Yeah, and then every time you see that person, you're like, oh, you're a monster.
Yeah.
All right, so weird. So everything that's going on to this point is, everybody's sad. His wife is posting these really incredibly sad, like, I miss you so much. But the weird thing is that Rob Baker's DNA in the house, also hundreds of texts and calls to Monica. So how does she know Monica? Or how does he know Monica? Rob and Monica had actually been in a relationship for a year and a half. They had met because Rob is an instructor at one of the LA fitness centers that she goes to.
Why is a sex offender allowed to be a fitness instructor? I really feel like that's a very close contact kind of job with people.
He specifically worked as the racquetball coach and like had teams and all kinds of stuff. Just a real.
I believe that, of course, prison is meant for reform and like people should, whatever. Okay. But we already have a huge issue with the way that women specifically are treated and sexualized in gyms, that I really feel like that kind of job is inappropriate.
You know what was the weirdest part of hearing about him is her friend who also knew Rob through the fitness center. The way she was describing him was that she was like, the way she described him was like a character out of a like a book, right? Like a character out of like a
positively or negatively?
No, positively, like a romance book. Like she was describing him like he was Christian Grey. Like he's just really rugged and he's just very like kind of like commanding personality.
Monica had been cheating on Fabio them for like a year and a half.
Yes. And there was some telltale signs posts where like his family was like, yeah, she seemed unhappy. She really missed home. Fabio has this whole new life and he's traveling a bunch. You guys know how much I traveled when I was.
Yeah.
And, so it just kind of felt like maybe their relationship was starting to take a little bit of a backseat to his career, which was, I think, tough. Plus your kids are growing up. They're about to leave, home probably within the next few years to go off to college. You're probably feeling super lonely. It's probably all leading up to kind of just feeling
an affair and a divorce, not like a murder.
Right.
Well, but Fabio does have a 1.6 million life insurance policy. And
I just, throughout all of these stories, I'm always like, is it worth the gamble that you're not going to get caught? Because we just did our Tainted Love movie episode for Patreon on War of the Roses, and same sort of thing. I'm just like, if you're in prison, you don't get to enjoy whatever the reward is that you think that you're going to get at the end of this. Like,
it's so short-sighted, and it's like, I don't know why people are so afraid of like divorce or change or what have you. It's like, I'll tell you, going through a divorce sucks and it's really hard. I guarantee you, I don't know from experience, but I bet you prison and a lengthy trial for murder sucks more.
Probably.
Right. But
I'm going to say it costs more.
Probably. It definitely sucks more, I think.
It definitely sucks more.
Your wardrobe sucks more for sure.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. Eating.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Can't be good.
No.
You're not going to those nice restaurants.
No delicious restaurants
No.
in prison. But it's clearly not even about that though. It's just greed. Like it's just greed. It's just like you're rolling the dice on like, maybe prison, but maybe
1.6
lots of money.
million.
Well, all during this time too, like the morning, the process, everything, keeps calling the police and is like, where are we at with this investigation? I could be like talking to this killer, who knows? Like she's so worried and she keeps badgering the police like, why can't I get this money from his life insurance policy? I need it for, because we have expenses, et cetera, and definitely does not show, not suspicious at all. Said no whenever. Right. Yeah. And it turns out that all during this time she is in Las Vegas with her lover Rob, posting all these real sad sob stories about her husband being gone while she's literally in the court papers. It literally says while she's having sex with Rob in a hotel in Vegas.
Why are people so stupid? Like, also, that's the other takeaway from all of these stories where I'm just like, dude, not like I'm telling you how to criminal because I don't want to do that. But I'm also like, you can't play it cool for like a little while.
Be
like
cool,
immediately.
Dude. Right.
Don't you know how that looks?
I will tell you exactly how she and Rob criminaled. The police did a very thorough investigation and found out quite a bit. It turns out that when the security systems were installed, that she immediately gave Rob all of her passwords and everything that he needed to be able to access remotely the all of their cameras,
system,
the entire system, right? She also, this is all 6 months before, this happens. She is, also setting up her entire system so that she can see everything through her phone as well. And on the day of the murder, on the 23rd, Monica is very actively in places in which she can be monitored as well. So she goes to Target, spends an hour in Target, which
looks directly into that camera,
waves,
that monitor camera at the self-checkout.
Yeah. She spends an hour at Target, then heads over to Ralph's for a while, all under the guise of shopping, while simultaneously her husband is being murdered. Not only that, she is watching.
She's logged in. They can see
she's logged in,
watching
it happen.
Oh my God. That's awful.
That's disgusting.
So as to not throw suspicion on herself, she has made sure, of course, that her daughters won't be home. Her oldest daughter, Jennifer, is out babysitting. So she made sure that was happening. But also to throw suspicion off herself, she made sure she wasn't the one who came home and found him dead. She let her fucking 16-year-old daughter come home and find her fucking father dead.
There's not enough therapy in the world to get you over that.
I don't know how it feels to lose a parent. I certainly can't imagine what that would be like as a child, and then learning that like your other parent did it.
And set you up to find like that for that kind of trauma as well. Like horrible.
That's so
completely
sad.
Awful, right?
Yeah.
That your fucking other parent let you walk in to find your father dead. How fucked, dude. Anyway, so yeah, it's awful. So at any rate, long story short, they have both pled innocent. Of course they did, because they couldn't possibly have done this thing that they have enough evidence of them doing.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's terrible.
Sorry. So at any rate, they've pled guilty.
Or pled innocent.
Yes, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, they pled innocent. They have yet to be put fully on trial, because this happened in 2017. 2018, later 2017 was when they were finally caught. Everything going through the system. 2020 happened. And so just recently, as of March, I think they finally were starting the process, the actual criminal process and the proceedings. So they've all both been held until the trial. So yeah, there is still not an ending technically to the story as far as like what their repercussions will be. It's awful to think that this woman all this time is, it's gross for me to think like she's posting all this stuff. I remember seeing the posts. I remember her crying at, one of the ceremonies that they were doing for like Wella and stuff, like Trend Vision, I think it was, where she was like crying, talking about her husband and how much love they were. And you're seeing all these, oh God, fucking Rob came to the fucking wake at their house. And somebody even took a picture of him while he was there, because he'd had bandages on his fingers. And they were like, this guy is suspicious. We've never seen him before. He's creepy. They sent that picture to the police. Like, I mean, it's just how the fucking big balls on Rob to come to a fucking wake of the person you murdered.
Well, and then who was the other guy that's with him?
Well, that's the other mystery. No one actually knows, because there were two criminals. I mean, two people did do this. No one's saying a word, and this person has not been caught, so they have no clue. They do know that she obviously was part of this plot, and that he was part of the duo that went through with the actual act, but no one has given up this second person or third party, technically, I guess, in this, right?
And it's in our neck of the woods.
I know
too.
I know. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, this guy probably spent some time in prison. This could be somebody that he'd spent time with. Like, he may not even be really close to this person. Yeah, who knows?
Wow.
It's awful.
No, it is awful, and maybe it's on my mind because we just recorded the movie episode where War of the Roses, where it's just I just don't understand people's choices sometimes.
Like, why?
You know what I mean? What you took a parent away from your kids. Like,
yeah,
just get a divorce. get a divorce.
All for some
money.
sexual predator
Oh,
who was dicking her down.
who wouldn't have even been allowed to be around her kids, I'm assuming.
I would fucking hope not.
Oh, God.
Awful.
Throw
Yeah,
Throw
what an
both
angry
away.
episode.
Yeah, this is.
I didn't mean to
Heated.
be.
A lot of shit people in this episode. Am I right?
Yes. Real garbage this time around. Hey, sometimes worst dates are not pooping your pants. Sometimes worst dates are the worst people.
Are the worst people.
The
Absolutely.
worst people.
Ugh.
Yeah. Well, to change it up, I have got to tell you guys about the fantastic experience I had this week watching a lovely show called Hacks.
Oh my God, so good.
I
It's so
really
good. I
want
saw
to
it.
watch
It
Hacks.
is so good. Jean Smart is
Brilliant.
Brilliant. I know. She's the best.
Brilliant. They're
so funny. Their chemistry
together, so great.
it's such a funny show.
It's cute.
It's so good.
Did you see Alex Chen?
Our friend,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I saw
was like,
Alex
wait.
Chen.
I was like, wait, what? That's Alex.
Our friend Alex Chen is in that show,
Yes.
and he
Didn't tell
works-
anybody. We just see
never
him.
tells anybody anything. He works all the time.
All the time.
And never tells anyone. Like
Yeah.
it's always a surprise. You could be watching something
Same with
and you're like,
Bosch.
"Huh, there he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I really want to watch that show.
It's so good. I have loved Jean Smart since Designing Women
yes.
back in the day,
Yes.
which made me really want to revisit that show.
She's fucking
Yeah.
great in Mare of Easttown too.
I know, I wanna
that's
see that.
right.
She's so good.
She was great in The Watchmen.
She's always amazing.
brilliant.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
brilliant actress.
and keeps working, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeps on getting it.
So definitely recommend taking that one for a spin. It was just kind of the perfect tone for this week. Really enjoyed it. So what about you guys?
So I started, as usual, I'm like, I need something to put on in the background while I'm like working or doing something like that Anthony's not going to get committed to, right? So I started watching Younger on Hulu.
it's so good.
And I am enjoying
Love
it.
it.
Now, the premise of it, I'm like, you got to suspend some disbelief because I'm like,
100.
nobody's
in a million years thinks that she's
26. So the premise is that it's Sutton Foster, who's an incredible Broadway actress,
So
who's
cute.
done a lot of like TV and stuff too, and she's adorable.
and it's what's her name's husband? Dun dun. Monica. Fuck. What's SVU?
Mariska Hargitay?
Mariska Hargitay's husband is who plays the boss.
oh, okay, yeah, he's great. And then Hilary Duff, of course. So
Love.
she's actually
Great
it's
in it.
the best I've ever seen her act.
She looks
Like
so
because
good, too.
having grown up with Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah.
There were some misses in the early
She's a
Hilary
kid.
Duff
Yeah.
career, but she is really good in this. But the whole premise is that Sutton Foster is going through a divorce, and her husband has left her for a younger woman, and she has to sell her place, and her kid's gone off to college, and she's 40, and she went to like Bernard and wants to get back into publishing, but no one will hire her because
She's
she's
40.
40 and she took like a 15-year gap in her career. So she gets mistaken for someone younger at a bar, and then her friend who is, gosh,
Yes.
what is her name?
Love her. Widow's
Amazing.
Peak.
I don't remember, but she's
Chris would
fantastic. And she tells her, like, why don't you just tell them you're 26? So she tells them that she's 26. She gets the job, and now she has to pretend to be 26, like, to everyone in her life, which you have to suspend some disbelief because she doesn't really, like, she looks amazing, but she doesn't look 26,
Yeah.
you know? But it's such a cute show. And of course, I was like 5 episodes in, and Anthony was like, what you watching?
Oh,
and he
no.
watched 1 episode with me, and now I can't watch it without him.
Oh, no.
So
Yeah.
we are we're back being stuck.
I have a show for you that you will like that is in the same vein of that kind of lighthearted drama kind of thing. I think it's even on the same channel. If you haven't, I know I've shared it with you before. It's The Bold Type.
Oh yeah, the Bold Type. Yeah.
So good. I really think you'd like it.
I
It's
would
right in your
totally
wheelhouse.
watch that. That one I think is freeform. What's funny about Younger
Oh,
is
that's
that
right.
it is TV land.
Yes.
But it is also MTV for some reason because it's a TV land show, but before every episode it has the MTV like
Oh.
Spaceman logo. So somehow MTV and TV land opposite ends of the TV spectrum,
right?
Merged.
I don't think it's not opposite ends of the spectrum anymore. We're all old people now.
I guess.
We know you're 40, bitches. Okay,
I cannot pull off 26.
No,
I don't think I can pull off 36
Listen,
at this point, and that was 2 years ago.
I single-handedly love all of us real hard, and think that we all look real great for our age. I super stand all of us. However, I work with 26-year-olds. There's not a person in this room. Not a one person in this room.
Rude.
Listen, because you know what it is? It's not even just a looks thing. That's the thing that you get right away with her, that you're like, there's no way. There's a maturity. Like there's a way you carry yourself. It's different. Nothing wrong with 26. I'm just saying, like, it's impossible to act 26.
Yeah.
If you're already, I don't know. It just,
you know what age I'd go back to? 33.
Yeah.
I felt I was still like young enough to be keeping it tight.
Yeah.
But also old enough to start like coming into my own strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. 33 is where I'd go back to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go back to my 20s.
I'm going to stay right where I'm at. I'm happy. I think every year gets better. Age is just it's all a fallacy anyway. And it's interesting. I think 30s are rock and roll. Like they are, right? You're still in that great, there's something really incredibly great about the 30s.
Until you sneeze and throw your back out.
Right. I mean, that's as dangerous as living.
Oh God.
Your body's like, nah, fuck you. So what I watched this week is, we came home, we played darts last week with, our friend Lyndon, and we came home and this is when we were recording, our guys were playing darts. And then when they came home, for some reason, Chris is like, I want to watch the other guys. And I was like, yes, always, every time. Always, yes. That fucking movie is so hilarious to me. And
it is
I will
funny.
always watch that movie. So it's literally been like just a slow vacuum for me of not being able to watch a lot of stuff because I've been so busy with work and my insane school schedule right now, which you guys saw my homework list for all I need to accomplish before I can go on a 4th of July holiday. So
have fun. I mean, you really are like the pendulum swing for this year. It's just like one extreme or the other.
Mm-hmm. It really is. It's like, it really has been like, I'm either not working, doing nothing, watching all the TV, or doing everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Ask me how many times I've worked out this week, because I have had no time.
Nice.
0.
Well, hey, if you guys have something that we should watch, read, if you have stories, reach out to us on our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstatepodcast.com, and we love you so much.
Cheers.